Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Doors Open Baltimore virtual tour of the Pratt Central Library presented by the Baltimore Architecture Foundation and the Enoch Pratt Free Library. First, thank you to everyone who has donated to support Doors Open Baltimore, and thank you to our Doors Open sponsors, grantors, and in-kind supporters. I encourage everyone to participate in our Instagram at Home photo contest. We'd love to see photos of the buildings around your neighborhood. Use the hashtag DoorsOpenBaltimore to participate. Prizes are available. Today's tour is the first program in our Arts and Culture Week and our first program in collaboration with the Pratt Library. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., the Pratt is hosting a special Doors Open virtual storytime featuring Virginia Lee Burton's The Little House. See this and all Doors Open offerings at www.doorsopenbaltimore.org. And now today's presentation. We're going to stop sharing the screen and turn it over to the Pratt Library team. During the tour, the video of the camera person will be pinned. Please make sure your Zoom is set to speaker view by clicking the view button in the top right corner of your Zoom screen. Please add questions you have in the Zoom chat box and the team will answer them as they go and at the end as well. Thank you and enjoy.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I am Megan McCorkle. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director here at the Pratt Library.
And good afternoon. I'm Edgar Wilson, the Chief of the Central Library, which is also the State Library for the state of Maryland. We're delighted to have you today.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you inside our Central Library. As many of you know, this building underwent a $115 million renovation, and we officially reopened last September. So we're going to take you around, show you some of the new things that we have, some of the upgraded things, some of the restored things. We'll take you a little bit behind the scenes, but we can talk a little bit about the history of this building. First of all, it opened back in 1933.
It opened in 1933, really at the height of the Great Depression. It was an amazing architectural feat for the city of Baltimore at that time, and it's important to note that the library was really concerned about people being employed. So the latest technology, which was a steam shovel, was used at that point, but a lot of horse and carriage was used as well to keep as many people in Baltimore employed.
Yeah, and today about 500,000 people pass through our doors of this library every single year. Like Wesley said, it's not just people here in Baltimore City, but it's all across the state of Maryland. And so we want to start down here in the children's area and show you one of the most spectacular additions with this renovation. You can see this gorgeous glass mosaic in an aquatic theme. This was designed by Art with Heart. 400 volunteers, staff members, board members, a bunch of people all were able to work on this amazing aquatic glass mosaic. It includes 45,000 pieces of hand-cut glass. It's really unbelievable. And you can see up in the corner, I'm going to make you go right up here to the corner. Part of it is really three-dimensional. As you see the mermaid tail, so it looks like the mermaid is up above the ceiling. It's just gorgeous. And combining sort of the new with the old, Wesley can talk a little bit about the water fountain that has been here since 1933.
This water fountain is just an amazing piece of artwork. And everyone who sees it begins to think it's actually hand carved, and it is a 1933 tile work. It is one of the most special areas of the building that really attracts people when they come down to children.
Yep, and we can keep moving in towards going into children's, and you'll see soon why there's an aquatic theme here in the children's department. You come through the big arch, and you'll see behind you that there is, fish and algae. It really is a spectacular entryway that is all brand new with this renovation. And then here's the big reason why. Wesley, show up.
And then we have this amazing 400-gallon internal fish pond that has been here since the 1930s. It is a wonderful piece of architecture, but more important, It is a place where so many of our customers have a tie. It's wonderful as we see parents and grandparents bringing children and their grandchildren in and coming to this location saying, this was my first introduction to the library.
Mhm. I'll tell you, one of the #1 questions I got asked the entire renovation is, where are the fish? How are the fish? So we know that this fish pond means a lot to people. When you keep coming into the newly renovated children's department, one thing I do want to show you is when people are allowed back in our building, you will see some big changes in light of COVID-19. So you can see some of our plastic sheeting to keep our staff and our customers safe. You'll see things like this throughout the building, including hand sanitizing stations. So we'll point those out as we go through. But another really special historic feature of this building is the fireplace. Wesley, you got to tell them about the fireplace.
The fireplace is one of 4 fireplaces that we have in the library. We have one in the boardroom and one on the 3rd floor and one in the showroom. We don't actually use these any longer, but we did it one time. This was a place where people gathered between Christmas and New Year to come in and sit and read and have the experience of an open fire.
Yes. Now we don't do open fires anymore. Obviously, I always laugh and say the children's department had a fish pond and a fireplace. Who would have thought? They wouldn't be designed that way these days. We also have, for kids to play with, a replica of the entire front of the Pratt Library building. Behind is normally filled with interactive looming sets. They can do puppet shows and things like that. So it really is a special place. And this is brand new to the children's department with the renovation. So it's just gorgeous and fun. So now we're gonna walk you back to a place that not everybody gets to go into. We're taking you into the stacks.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, behind the scenes. Of course, we gotta make sure the alarm doesn't go off. So come on in. So we are now on the 2nd stack of the building. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize, you look at the front of our building and you see 4 stories going up. We actually go 4 stories below ground too. 3 of those stories are stacks just like this.
And actually, we're going to come to an intersection, and I'm going to ask John to pan so that you can see that if we look straight ahead, we're looking at Cathedral Street. If we look in the direction here, we're looking at Franklin Street. And of course, we left Mulberry Street, and this is Park Avenue. That gives you an idea of the size of the building, but the size of the stack area as well.
Yeah, there are 1.7 million volumes just in this building, which is pretty unbelievably spectacular.
Incredible.
The other thing with the renovation is the stacks also got renovated. And one of the really interesting things historically is actually when the building was built, these original stacks are actually some of the support structure of the building. So these stacks actually help hold the whole building up.
They do indeed.
Yes.
They do
So
indeed.
people were worried we'd get rid of stacks. We said we actually can't really do that because they're holding the building up. So,
and I have to point out, Megan, that not only do we have 1.7 million items in the building, in the collection, our collection actually begins in 572 BC with a small cuneiform tablet.
yeah. Our special collections are pretty spectacular, and it's amazing to see that type of history. And actually, you can just contact our special collections department, and they love touring, showing people some of the really special things that we have in our collection. Actually, one of my favorite stories was, I think my 2nd year I was here, we had some artists' paintings, and I can't remember the artist, but it was a wife's favorite artist. And so for Valentine's Day, the husband called the special collections department. Yes. And they came in, and that's what he surprised her with. So we're always happy to help with things like that, with happy stories like that. So I'm gonna let Wesley lead the way because the stacks are, I've only been here 4 years now, and I still get lost in the stacks. We'll head on upstairs. Go ahead. I laugh and say we're a building of stairs. because I will never be a stairmaster as long as I work. You do, it's great. So, still going. John, our talented photographer, is having to find steps backwards with us. We appreciate it. There we go. All right, let's lead the way.
All right.
We're walking out into Central Hall, which is probably one of the places that is most well recognized at the Pratt Library. So we come out, we can see it's a sunny day because of the skylight. All of the glass in that skylight was replaced during the renovation, and the rosettes in the ceiling, actually some of them had cracks, and they went up there and they were able to fix them and just restore it to the splendor that it was back in 1933. It is gorgeous. I mean, this is a space that we do a lot of programming in.
Yes, we do. And it is, as Megan has pointed out, it is really the central piece of this building. The artwork that you see around the frieze has all been hand restored. It is absolutely amazing. And if we look just above my head over here, you see something brand new, a new addition to Central Hall, which is this amazing projector. And as we then look toward the Berman Business and Science wing, we see above, almost invisibly with that wonderful painting decoration, a very large screen, which allows us to have film programs and the ability to show other major events to our public.
Yeah, I always like to tell the story. During the renovation, it was all scaffolding inside here. So when I first started working here, all of Central Hall was in scaffolding. The way to get up to the skylight was you had to actually take a step outside those windows onto scaffolding and climb a ladder up to something they called the dance floor, which was not great for someone who's really terrified of heights. But by the end, I was sort of used to doing it, but it was a little scary, but I felt like I always had to get up there because I wanted to put my hand on those rosettes, because I would think about how people probably hadn't touched those since 1933.
Correct.
Yeah, it's pretty tremendous.
It's just been an amazing process. And really to restore the building as it was seen when you first entered in 1933 has been so exciting.
Mm-hmm. So we'll walk through. Here's one thing you probably didn't see in 1933. When we have people coming back into the building, which we're hoping for in the next several weeks, we do have social distancing markers to remind people to try and keep 6 feet apart. So we tried to be a little cheeky about it, separate but together. Here's the 6 feet between me and Wesley. And we say that's about the wingspan of 6 Orioles, not outfielders, actual birds. So we're doing a lot of things to keep people safe, including wearing face coverings, regularly disinfecting the building. So we'll be really excited to be able to start welcoming the public back, hopefully.
Oh, yes, we will.
So now we're passing into the Hackerman Best and Next department. Wesley, what can you tell us about this?
This is an amazing collection that houses all of our audiovisual materials, over 34,000 items in this area, and 16mm films as well. What is so spectacular, not only about the collection, is the ceiling in the room itself. This is a magnificent hand-carved plaster ceiling that was restored by hand. The architects were really, the artisans were just repairing one rosette, and they decided to go through and to completely restore the painting to the original colors, the brightness. The light fixtures that you see replace the large egg crate fluorescent fixtures that were installed in the 1959 period. And these are patterned after the original fixtures that were in place when the building opened. The ceiling is just stunning.
It's spectacular, and I'll tell you, this is like one of our most photographed ceilings in the entire building.
Yes.
But we really are like a building of ceilings. I laughed and said that we were going to have to CAD some of the stacks and stuff, because people are going to look up so much they're just going to walk into things, just because we have so many spectacular ceilings in this building. And it was unbelievable to watch the artisans up there and their craftsmanship when they were able to restore some of these ceilings, some of which, and we'll show you a little bit later, that hadn't really been seen for decades. Yeah, it was tremendous. But so we can start moving back into, oh, we have a question.
Wesley, we have a question from Deborah, actually, going back to Central Hall.
Yes.
If you could repeat, what was it that you mentioned about why you were unable to see the stacks to Mulberry Street?
Oh, it was because we were walking that direction.
Because we were walking in that direction. We actually, Deborah, great question, thank you. We actually started from Mulberry Street, which is where the children's room is located. So we left and went in, and that's why we were looking straight ahead toward Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stacks are pretty tremendous. I always say I could get lost down there, and sometimes you want to get lost down there. So if you like the smell of old books like me, it's like, it's just such an amazing place. So we'll come back through Central Hall, and then we're going to take you into the Business, Science, and Technology wing, which we're really excited about. It now houses the brand new Job and Career Center, the Hillman Job and Career Center. So it's something that we knew we really needed. A lot of people come to the library looking for help finding jobs, and now we have a place for them to go, and the latest, greatest technology for them to use. So I guess before we get in there, we have to talk about the ceilings again.
Yes, we do.
I talk a lot about the ceilings. You take this one, Wesley. I gush about the ceilings too much.
So when the fluorescent lighting was installed in 1959, the ceilings were decorated exactly like this. And the contractor said, oh, we have to paint over and cover all of that so you get the full benefit of the lighting. So for years, we have been wanting to remove those fixtures and restore the ceilings. And we have black and white photographs from when the building opened, so we understood the pattern. When those fixtures came down, they had the color palette, and the ceiling was restored, but not by hand on scaffolding. These wonderful designs were done on linen and then applied by the artisans as if you would apply wallpaper. And that was done on both the north and the south end of the building. Again, the light fixtures are new. We're a LEED building, but these light fixtures are patterned after the original fixtures that you would have seen entering in 1933.
Mm-hmm. I loved, because it was applied almost like wallpaper. It was like just a few days for all of this to go up. It was like magic.
It was magic.
It was magical. Because, you never realized the beams in the ceiling before until they picked us up, and now you can't not see them. So it's just,
and you
every
almost
detail.
can't imagine that they look ever different.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine they ever look different. So now we're walking into the Hillman Job and Career Center, and this is a new space. And one of the big features of the entire space, which is on the lower level and the upper level, are these glass enclosed classrooms of different sizes. And yep, we're flipping on the lights for you so you can see them. There we go. So you can see that this gorgeous glass, these classrooms are all different sizes, so we can accommodate all different kinds of programs. So what are some of the things that actually happen in here, Wesley?
What happens here is people gather in twos in the smaller classrooms to work on resumes and job and career strategies. In the larger conference room that you see here, there is a meeting space for anyone in the business field. We have interviewing done pre-COVID with a team of people here in the room. We can now do that virtually. All of our rooms are set up so actually a customer could come in and have a job interview virtually here in these classrooms. Behind us, you will also see this amazing computer lab, which seats 20. We have laptops for all of these stations, and this is an expanded version of that larger conference room that you just saw. This is used for training. It's also used for many public meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets a lot of use. I feel like every time, well, before obviously COVID, we had a lot, every time I'd walk through here, all the rooms were filled. One of the things I think that is the neatest that, you know, we're learning about in this virtual world now is that in some of these rooms, say you're interviewing for a job and that job is in California, you can actually come here and do a FaceTime or Skype interview if you didn't have that technology available at your home. So the Pratt Library is actually one of the largest providers of free internet service in the entire state of Maryland. So we know how much that means to people. That's why we're trying to, in this era of COVID, trying to do drive-in Wi-Fi locations. We are right now lending tablets and hotspots. I actually saw another round of 100 more hotspots just came in yesterday. So if you're on that hold list, just hold on for us. We're ordering more and more as we can. So it's exciting.
It's really wonderful that we can reach out and take the library out to our customers virtually, which we had never considered this way before.
Yeah, you know, it's a whole new world in just a short period of time. But I think the one thing that I've always found about the Pratt Library is we take a look at what do people need in the city of Baltimore, and we figure out how we can fulfill that need. So, you know, we have social worker in the library, we have lawyer in the library, and those are programs that are continuing virtually right now. And honestly, those aren't programs that a lot of other libraries have, although now a lot of other libraries do have it after the Pratt had it. So we want to also show you the donor wall. So obviously this renovation could not have been done without the generosity of our private donors. So this is where we honor those private donors. The renovation was funded by the state of Maryland and the city of Baltimore and the generosity of our private donors. So we're very thankful for them. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have this amazing building available to the entire public. So
That is so true.
Oh, yeah.
The largesse of the community has really been always historically reflected in who we are and what we can make available.
So now we're starting to move into the lobby. So here our doors are open. Sorry, our talking almost got shut in one of them. But through here you can see our sidewalk service. So right now at 14 locations, the Pratt Library is offering sidewalk service. So we mentioned the 1.7 million volumes in the collection. You can still access all of those volumes. You just have to go on to our website and put a hold on a book, and then you will be able to pick it up contact-free at one of 14 locations. So we're really happy to be able to offer that service that is incredibly popular right now, and to keep people safe and contact-free. So,
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Again, I know it's ceilings. I got very excited about ceilings, Wesley. So this ceiling was really special because it was painted white, wasn't it?
It wasn't painted white, but the decoration that you see had been painted over, and the artisans came through with cotton balls. I stood and watched them. It was phenomenal. And alcohol, and just took away that first layer of paint to really reveal what the ceilings look like so they could be so beautifully restored.
Yeah, it was tremendous talking to Evergreen Architectural Arts that was involved in this, and they said that they didn't know, once they were painted over, they really didn't know what they were going to find underneath, and some of what they were able to find was absolutely spectacular. So we are so thankful to be able to walk into the library and
Stunning.
then we talked about new technology. Remember, you used to go through those turnstiles that would hit you in the stomach? Well, not anymore. We have some upgraded turnstiles here that you can just pass through over glass. So that's always helpful. We used to have, what was it called? The bird cage.
Yes.
A security office here. So that has been taken down. So it's a lot more open here in the lobby. So now, we get to go to another giant feature. Yes, I was gonna say, more stairs. So we'll head up to the second floor. Just keep climbing. I did miss this when I was teleworking. I don't have enough stairs in my house to make it. We talked about how attention, all the detail that was made. And it was down to these banisters, the glass railing. They actually, I said, like, for someone who really loves Mr. Clean Magic Erasers, this was amazing because they soaked the railing in a solution, and then as they were taking it off, you could see like it start gleaming and gleaming. It was very satisfying. We'll come on through. This is sort of the lobby of the second floor. And I think this is one of my favorite places. A little seating area right here, and you can really admire the historic.
Yes, this is a place where you can come and bring your laptop or whatever device you have and work quietly. And as Megan just pointed out, the grill work here is really another one of those photographs that's captured by people who visit the building.
And what you'll notice is on some of the newer elements of the building, like the algae downstairs in the children's department, they made the same shapes as the historic ironwork to really make the building so cohesive. So that's what we mean about this attention to detail, because it is pretty spectacular when you notice that the grill in the front of the building, the iron down, the algae downstairs matches the shape. Yeah, it is. I mean, it was just, it's so much attention to detail, more than I usually have. I will admit. So, but this is one of my favorite seating areas in the entire building. We actually had a picture, and we don't have it up now, of somebody sitting here back in like, I think 1950 or something like that. And we recreated that picture with someone sitting here with the laptop. And it's funny because except for the laptop, it looks exactly the same, which is pretty amazing. So I guess we'll head on to the second floor. Teen Center. Yes, the Earl Teen Learning and Leadership Center, which is a brand new space. Teen Center used to be downstairs. And this is just, you know, a tiny bit bigger, right? It's about 10 or 15 times the size of the previous teen area. And the first thing you'll notice is this big glass wall. If anybody has teens at home, they know that teens are not quiet by nature. And so this gives them really their own space to be as loud as they would want to be. So we're always constantly working. We're constantly working on the building. So if you go, hi guys, we're in a live virtual tour right now. This is John Richardson.
How do you do, everyone?
Our facilities
Hi.
director. So
Pleasure to meet you all.
Yes.
Thanks for doing the tour. Hope you're seeing many interesting
Thanks.
things.
John did a lot of the work on this building, so we're glad that we were able to run into him. But this is the creation station.
Yes, this is like a makerspace, and it's filled with so many ideas and so much technology to make those ideas come to life. We have sewing machines, and we have cutters. We have 3D printers. We have video cameras and digital cameras, all of which teens who come into this space can take advantage of and have that creative experience, as well as beginning to think about how this might apply to a career.
Absolutely. And you know, I thought was really tremendous. The staff that works here, like if I could just hang out with them all day, I would do it, because they can teach you how to use all of this equipment, and they have. And a bunch of them were able to take home some of these 3D printers at the start of COVID, the pandemic quarantine, and they were actually printing PPE for medical workers. So it was just, I mean, sort of unfailing in how much they want to give back. So, and you can see some of the amazing things they've made. They made a chess set with the 3D printers.
And you want to show the skulls?
I know, this is, yes, very appropriate for Halloween. So it's a skull. You can take it off and see the different sections of the brain. So, and this is stuff that they can teach kids how to do. In fact, I think they're doing they've been doing some virtual 3D printing where kids are able to send in their design and get it printed.
Yes, the person who is actually doing all the training here in the makerspace actually is held summer camps and is now doing virtual programs to teach people sewing and to use all of the equipment that we have here.
Yes.
So Megan.
This is my
Joey,
favorite. Well, I have a lot of favorite spaces. I keep saying every space is my favorite space, but this is the audio video recording studio. So you will probably notice immediately that the sound becomes better on this video because we are now in a soundproof room. So this can be used. We tape our Free to Be More podcast in this room. We've got musical instruments. The staff here can teach kids how to make music videos, how to do podcasts, all kinds of things. We have a control room on one side and all kinds of equipment on this side.
This is so exciting because teens can come here and not only record their own music, record their own video, but do the editing process here as well. And the library's been working with Media Rhythm to actually get all of these programs moving, and it has just been so exciting. The control room behind us is a full-fledged recording studio control room.
Yeah, and I should point out, because people always ask me, everything we do is free. It is free. We say free is our middle name. So people always say, you guys do that for free? Yes, we do that for free. That's what we do here at the library. So you can see this amazing equipment that I guess I should come in for a lesson.
I think you should.
I know, they could teach me how to use it. I don't know, I'm used to being on the other side. So, but yeah, I mean, it is state-of-the-art stuff that they would see in a professional recording studio, and you can start learning those skills. I mean, I just wish this was available when I was a teen.
When you were a teen.
I know,
Oh.
a long, long time ago. We can come back out into the creation station, and we'll mention just one little thing about the ceiling here. So this was a decorative ceiling before, and they weren't able to fully restore it because we had to put so much soundproofing and things like that in this room. So you can see a little snippet. They uncovered part of the decorative ceiling, so you can still see what it would have looked like back when the building opened in 1933.
Yes, and this was at one time the local history department.
Yeah, and now we'll take you into, okay, so.
Oh, now
I know, I keep saying
I know,
everything's my
I
favorite
know.
ceiling, but I think this is my favorite ceiling going forward. So we're gonna go into the Pratt Contemporaries Teen Reading and Resource Room.
Hey, well, we have some good audio. I think maybe we can take a couple of questions.
Questions, yes,
Oh, great.
please.
Sure.
So Gregory asked if we could speak briefly to the phases 4 and 5 of reopening of where we currently are.
Sure, absolutely. So as of right now, we have been working really closely with the city safety czar and with city health officials so that we can make sure that we open our buildings as safely as possible for our customers and staff. So phase 4, we're looking at doing appointment-only computer appointments. So it would be a limited number of people in the building, and the computers would be spaced 6 feet away. We'll have covers over the computers, over the keyboards and the mice. Mouses, I don't know, but yes. So, and then they will be disinfected in between use. So that is sort of the next step for us. And then after that, it would be a limited entry, whatever that percentage would be deemed by the city. But again, since the very beginning of this, we've been working really closely with city officials. I think we are really working towards trying to get computer appointments at least 3 of our locations up and running by the beginning of November. We should have an announcement coming in the next couple of weeks. We're just fine tuning everything, but we know how much people really want to be here back in the library. We want you here. It's lonely. It's lonely without people. So we were just trying to do it the safest possible way. It included outfitting the buildings with, you saw the plastic screening, ordering a lot of different protective gear and stuff like that. So we are working towards that, and I think we're starting to turn the corner and be able to start letting the public back in our buildings shortly. So stay tuned.
Great. And then we have a question for Wesley. Following up on that, Greg, your other question, what exists in the way of chat or dial-in librarian assistance?
Oh, great. Wonderful question. We have not only, our telephones have been open now since June, but we also have a live chat with the librarian service so that you can go onto our webpage and have an individual chat and a virtual reference experience with one of the many subject experts here at the library.
Yeah, so we're trying to do sort of what we do in person, but do it virtually. So,
Thanks.
all right. So now we'll see my favorite ceiling. Oh, sorry, we're still coming. We're still coming, baby. John's hiding behind. All right. I think this is my favorite now. It just keeps getting better. So we can't, let's not let them wait any longer. So this is the ceiling of the teen room. And believe it or not, all of this was overpainted with white paint for years and years. And there was the giant egg crate lighting in here. And like Wesley said, they were up there with tiny little cotton balls, having no idea if this paint had been preserved. Tell me what you know. I mean, I know there's the birds of Maryland. There's a lot to the ceiling.
The ceiling is just amazing. So you get these wonder botanical and zoological scenes of Maryland. This was, as time went on, the expansion space and became the Maryland department. But as Megan has mentioned, the ceiling was covered with fluorescent lighting. It was painted white before the lighting went on. So when the lighting came down, we knew this wonderful carving was there, but we had no idea what the decorative ceiling actually looked like. And it took almost 18 months.
Yeah.
On scaffolding, 2 individuals taking the paint off and then painstakingly doing all this really stunning restoration.
Yeah, I said tiny little paint brushes to get it just right. And they actually did a lot of testing to try and figure out what the original colors would have been. So it was interesting because sometimes you would come in here and there'd be like 3 different kinds of silver on that trim because they were trying to figure out exactly which was the right silver. So, I mean, it really, I mean, the details are just stunning. So yeah, I think this is my favorite. But you can also see how much bigger the teen center is. So look, it's like the size of 2 high school gyms in here.
And what's important to note here is that teen services, or in the day, so to speak, young adult services in the United States are rooted in what the Pratt Library developed in terms of young adult and teen services back in the 40s and 50s. So not only is the building spectacular, but we also have to remember all of these services that have made such an impact on American libraries, not to mention the building itself.
Yes, so it does make sense for the Pratt of all places to have a state-of-the-art teen center because we were the originators of teen librarianship. So, and then we can tell you on the opposite wall, we don't necessarily have to go in, but there is a glass enclosed, it's more of a computer sort of classroom, a learning lab. So incorporating that technology.
Yes.
So classes can come in here, librarians can have class visits in here, that type of thing. So that's what it was designed for, and sort of the glass kind of keeps the sound.
Well, and it's also wonderful because all those furnishings are flexible, so the room can be adapted to any use that is in request.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll start heading out of the teen center. We'll be back, teen center. Even the hallways, like the ceilings of the hallways. I mean, every single square inch of the building.
And you will notice in all of the decorative elements, even in the light fixtures, what we pointed out, what Megan pointed out in the grill work that you saw, is carried throughout the building.
Yeah. I always like watching the walk up here, especially when we have big events. So right before we had to close for quarantine, we had an event that had almost more than 1,000 people here. And my favorite thing to do is to sneak up to the 2nd floor and be able to look out the window, because just seeing that many people filling this building, I mean, it just does something to you. It really makes it was special. Honestly, the day that we reopened the Central Library, we had the grand reopening and the block party, 9,000 people came out for it. And I think I must have stood up here for a very long time, because it did my heart well to see a line snaking all the way around for people to get library cards and people enjoying the music. I mean, there was just something really special and amazing about it.
And this is a living wonder. This is the center of the community. It's the Greens of Baltimore that just has so much to offer.
Yeah, and I mean, Enoch Pratt was ahead of his time when he started this. He said, my library will be for all, and this has always been a motto and a credo that we have lived by, that this is a place for everybody.
Long before ADA, Enoch Pratt ensured that everyone would have access to the building by creating a library that had a straight street-in entrance.
Yeah, I think, it's so interesting because I didn't realize this till I worked here, but you look at New York's public library or Philadelphia, and they've got these giant staircases in front. And they said back in the day, you would have to ascend to knowledge.
Right, exactly.
But Joseph Wheeler, who helped design this building, was the library director at the time, said, we want to be for all. So they actually designed it a little bit more in a department store vein, right?
Well, and in that department store vein as well, we did something that was revolutionary with the straight street-in entrance. Dr. Wheeler wanted to take the library outside the building. So we had outside or exterior windows that allowed us to talk about programs and show book displays and all of the activities that were going on in the library. There are wonderful photographs in the 50s and 60s, people stopping their cars and getting out and looking in the windows to see what the library was doing.
Yeah. They still do that
They
today.
still do that
People
today.
ask all the time, oh, that's where we advertise a lot of our programming, because people walk by and see our window displays. And coming up this winter, last winter, we did winter windows. So we kind of really wanted to lean into that department store theme and try and recreate like Macy's windows. And we're going to be doing it again this season. So hang on to your hats. It's a great socially distant family event. Yeah,
Wonderful.
come take your Christmas card pictures. So we hope to have those up by Thanksgiving weekend. So
Not long.
not long, I know. My team is like, what? No. So we are in the Edgar Allan Poe room.
Yes, we are.
Tell us about the Edgar Allan Poe.
This gives you that real library feel of paneling and glass covered bookcases. And again, a wonderful fireplace. The portrait of Edgar Allan Poe that you see there is one of the more famous. The room is named after Edgar Allan Poe. At one point in time, the Poe Society used to lease this for us for their meetings. The books that you see around the room are just a small collection of first edition club books that have been given to the library by the Baltimore community over the years. It's an amazing, amazing collection.
Mm-hmm. And in this room, they really did refinish a lot of the woodwork, the flooring.
All of the furniture, all of the original furniture in the building has been restored.
Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of, small events in here, small author events, donor events, that type of thing. So it really is a room that gets a lot of use.
Very much so,
Mm-hmm.
very much so. And again, we've talked about technology as we've moved you through the building. We have technology here as well. So you can attend a Zoom seminar or a webinar. You can actually stream that out of the building so that we really do use the technology to continue to increase access to the library and to the library staff.
Yeah, and Wesley mentioned streaming. One of the things that we have had in Central Hall, our first year, we just had spectacular authors. And we knew that we wanted to invite really big name authors to come into the building, but we wanted that access for everybody. We can only fit a certain amount of people downstairs in Central Hall, but with that projector and the screen, we're actually able to stream our programs to other locations in the library. So it's allowed us to open up some overflow seating in different areas, like our Wheeler Auditorium upstairs, or our Creative Arts Center, and even the Poe Room. So in some of our bigger programs, we've actually filled all of our overflow as well. So we're really excited to be able to get back to that when things normalize and everyone's healthy. So
And we will.
I know, we will.
We will.
We will. So I guess now we can just take your questions.
Whatever
There's so much
questions
more
you
in the
have.
building. We could go on and on, but we decided to sort of end it in the Poe Room so that we don't have to climb any more stairs for the moment.
Great. So yeah, if anybody does have a question, feel free to put it in the chat.
Yes.
I know they've been coming in throughout, but I'll start here with, who was Enoch Pratt and how did he make his wealth?
Enoch Pratt was today what we would think as a distributor. He distributed hardware And he amassed his money by providing that service. There are so many interesting stories told about Mr. Pratt that when he walked to work, he would pick up nails in the street and include those in his inventory. And when the first building was built that faced on Mulberry Street, he would come in the morning. There were no paper clips, but he would count the pencils and the stray pins at the reference desk, and on his way home to his house, which is now the Maryland Historical Society, he would count them again before he left. He was incredibly generous to the city.
I guess that's how you make your wealth, if you're counting the paper clips, counting every penny.
Great. Well, I think there was a question about hoping to get a little information about the statues that we passed in the hallway. I don't know if we want to swing out and provide some of that, or
Sure, that would be wonderful.
Great.
Wesley's charade.
But before we do that,
Yeah.
actually, we have one quick question
Okay.
about if you could explain the fire protection in the building. It looked like there were sprinklers down in the stacks. And this question comes from, yeah, please.
Yes, we do indeed have sprinklers in the stacks, and any major library today has the same type of installation. We have an invaluable collection, and it's important to remember that the system we have is dry pipe. So there shouldn't be, and really is no way that there would be an accident that would set those sprinklers on during the day or in an evening when we are not here. It really does help us protect the collection. And despite the fact that there are many restoration services available to any library in a situation like that, we want to be certain that we can protect everything so we don't lose major sections of historically important materials.
One of the things I noticed during the renovation is the way they were so artful. We have these gorgeous decorative ceilings. So how do you work in sprinkler heads and the gorgeous decorative ceilings? And they were able to sort of hide them in cornices and different places. So again, it's restoring the history, but with the latest, greatest technology. So it's sort of the theme of the whole building in the restoration.
Great. And before we head out to those statues, while we have this great sound in here, I have one more about Heather. Heather asked, can adults use the creative space and recording studio, or is that just for kids and teens?
Well, right now, it really is. It was designed and set up for kids and teens. However, when we are back in business, we are going to be looking at scheduling times for adults during the day when teens are in school. So we really realize that that whole concept appeals to all of us, and we want to open up that opportunity to adults as well.
I know. I've been sneaking in there since the beginning.
Oh,
so I understand. I know. But I think they were building the walls around me in that recording studio. So yes, there's definitely something for everyone in the building.
Sure.
So let's go.
Let's wrap up on those statues.
Absolutely.
There's no more questions for in here.
All right. On through. Now, normally this hallway would have teams, and it's very rare for us to have a very quiet hallway. Libraries aren't quiet anymore. All right.
So here we have a statue by James Earl Reed of Billie Holiday, and we all remember Billie Holiday's songs and her impact on jazz and music. And Billie Holiday was a Baltimorean. So she is represented in this little gallery of sculpture. And we'll move down here to this bust of Gerald Johnson that was done by Jacob Epstein.
George
Bernard
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Shaw.
Gerald Johnson is next.
Yes. So yes, this was a gift from the family of Joseph Katz. So it's really.
And the family of Joseph Katz, when Mr. Katz passed away, gave so many of his items and collections here to the library. So our special collections is where many of those are held. And now
Here's
we do
Gerald
have
Johnson.
Joe Johnson, that was done by Reuben Kramer, the very famous Baltimore sculptor.
That's beautiful in detail.
And one more. And this is this amazing Reuben Kramer sculpture of Thurgood Marshall. And it was the design that you see in front of the federal courthouse here in Baltimore.
It is truly spectacular. It's so wonderful to get some of these things, priceless things that we have donated to the library, and there's so much
And
more in
we
our
really
special.
have them out for everyone to see and enjoy and understand the impact of people on Baltimore's history and the library.
Great.
Yeah.
And then the final question, is the Enoch Pratt Library the largest in the state of Maryland in terms of its building and collection?
Okay, good. That's a really good question.
Oh, it's a
And
stumper.
of course, I'm going to say absolutely. The Central Library here at Pratt is the largest public library building in the state of Maryland. There are many academic libraries. Hopkins is only one. There's University of Maryland that have extensive buildings and collections. But from the public library sector, this building is really the largest.
Yeah, and I think some of the things that people don't recognize is while the Central Library is sort of our crown jewel, there are 21 branch locations of the Enoch Pratt Free Library all across the city of Baltimore. We have 3 mobile units that are on the roads. We have our mobile job center, our book buggy, which focuses on young kids, and then our bookmobile, which is essentially a library on wheels. So we're a little bit of everywhere across the entire city of Baltimore. So we really try and serve the whole city, which with the questions when it came about phase 4 and phase 5, I mean, that's sort of the challenge. If you have more than one building to outfit with all these extra safety precautions now, it does take a little bit longer, but we're gonna make sure that everybody stays safe when they come in our doors.
And you may not realize that our mobile vehicles, you will see them on the road, and currently they are enormous Wi-Fi hotspots on wheels. So they are in the community to assure that our customers and the citizens of Baltimore have access to Wi-Fi at no cost.
And you can find those locations on our brand new website that we're excited about, prattlibrary.org. We've got a complete makeover. So go visit us there. And if you don't have a library card, you can sign up for an e-card right on prattlibrary.org. We've had about 12,000 people sign up for e-cards during quarantine. You can access our ebook collection, which is incredibly popular.
Our databases.
Yes, I mean, there's so much you can do
Yes,
on our virtual library.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking this tour with us. We hope that you're able to come visit us as soon as we're able to open our doors.
And I have to let you also know that we're as excited about giving this tour as I hope you are having the opportunity to be part. It really excites us to go through the building and talk about what we see every day, but we still marvel at every day as well.
We are lucky. That's
We
true.
are indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.